need to do a lot to introduce our speaker this morning, as most of you are familiar with him. You know him, or you've at least seen him speak at breakfast before. But Keller has been a leader in our company for over 30 years, helping to provide safe, reliable energy to the state of South Carolina. Most recently, he was promoted to president of Dominion Energy South Carolina. And I think it's really important that we've got a resident of Lexington who's in that role, helping to provide a critical resource to the customers and citizens of our state. Now, I don't have any idea what he's going to talk about this morning because he wouldn't tell me, but I'm sure it'll be entertaining. Keller Cassandra.
As y'all know, I really don't have any idea about what I'm going to talk about either. But anyway, I do want to appreciate the folks at Wells Fargo, man. That is in the best form of Christian giving. You provide the breakfast and then you're not here to even eat it. So we want to maybe put them in the sermon, Reverend. And hey, look, brother, I ain't never had anybody get up and do an invocation and include me in it when I was speaking. You're the first, so thank you very much. I'll try not to let you down. Let's see what's going on in the company that would be of interest to y'all here in Lexington. First thing is, Baby New Year popped us in the mouth pretty strong on January the 3rd when that wind came through here on Monday. How many of y'all lost power? Raise your hand. That many of you are served by Mid-Carolina Electric? Howdy there. How about that? I'll talk to Bob Paulin about that and he'll get y'all straight, and I promise you, he didn't even show up today with y'all being out of lights. I'm sorry about that, but Royce is here. He gets you back on quick. And Patrick Bloom, he couldn't be here because his wife is ailing a little bit, but Patty Meld, I call him. He's right down in Industrial Park here in Lexington, and those guys do an outstanding job. Wind came through. It was 41 to 45 miles per hour sustained. And I love a good storm. You know what? You know why I love it? It fulfills that Bible verse, how powerless we are before Almighty God. He sends it, and there's nothing we can do about it but go and pick up the pieces. And in COVID and everything else that we're going through right now, you know what? Shed that anxiety that you have. It's going to happen. It's going to be here. We're going to have challenging times. But you know what? Just come together afterwards as a community, as a company, whatever you're involved with, and let's pick up the pieces to the glory of the Lord. That's what we do every single day. That's why I love working for a utility. In fact, we got all them cross arms out there. I love that. You'll never see one of our facilities again. You won't see those cross arms because you know what they do? They bring the light. They bring the light. So keep that in mind when you're riding around. Don't look at them too much. You'll run into somebody. I had a lineman the other day in Chapin. He ran in the back of somebody. And we ran in the back of somebody. We did the accident investigation. He said he was looking at a street light that was out. I said, well, wait a minute. It was 9 o'clock in the morning. How'd you know the street light was out? So just pay attention when you're out there riding around. But that storm came through 41 to 45 miles per hour sustained winds. And gusted up to 61 miles an hour. We had one point, a substation down in Orangeburg, 61 miles per hour. And so it's a big challenge to start the year off. And you got people like Royce and Patrick, but then you got Travis. Travis Hall here, he runs our SCADA system, Supervisor Control and Data Acquisition, these switches that we have out there on the system. So when we have an outage, tree falls in, car hits a pole, whatever, they automatically go out and sectionalize that system. So you might have 2,000 customers out, this switch opens, you feed it in opposite directions, those 2,000 people are down to 25. That's why when we get in there at 5:30 from the 61,000 customers we had out, we quickly throughout the day restored power to just about everybody within about a 16-hour period. So kudos to them, from that standpoint. So you're going to have weather events. All right, don't be cold in the morning. You better zip your line in your jacket in the morning, 21. So I got up this morning, I'm going to let y'all in on something, all right? Now this is kind of some insider stuff. All right, I'm going to let you in on it, okay, today. We've got 960 megawatts of solar, all right? Now usually I hit the office about 5:30, but this morning I was able to sleep in about another 30 minutes and I brought up the operating summary on my laptop at home. 961 megawatts. We hit our peak this morning at about 6:35. That's everybody getting up and do what they're doing, okay? All right, those 960 nameplate megawatts of solar were producing 0. They had a goose egg beside it, okay? So the thing I'm letting you in on, solar doesn't work when the sun ain't shining. Don't tell everybody that, okay? All right, that's the challenge. That's the challenge, okay? And wind don't blow, and the turbines don't turn, and the wind ain't blowing. And so the thing I tell people about that, I saw a good article, it's like having a trick knee. You never know when it's going to go out. Cloud cover comes. And so that's a challenge for us to kind of manage that as we go forward. All right, let's talk about Lake Murray. I know you want to talk about Lake Murray. 354.3. I don't like the lake being down. No. Man, it is working just as we planned. Just as we planned. All that grass and stuff that grows in the shallow areas there, when the sun gets to it, dropping the lake about that 6 feet. Okay? And guess what happens? We get the freeze we had this morning, we get 21 degrees in the morning, you watch, all that grass will disappear. It'll disappear. And then we'll bring it back up. All right? I'm going to let you in on something else that people, that they think we have. There is not a spigot in the Saluda River that we turn on to fill up the lake. All right? Who do we rely on to fill up the lake?
Mother Nature.
The Lord. Yeah, that's exactly right. Mother Nature fills up the lake. Y'all learning all kinds of stuff here this morning. Mother Nature fills up the lake. Now, I will tell you, y'all know the 5 towers we got out there in the lake? They're 220 feet tall. I mean, that is somewhat of a stopper that we can pull. They have a bunch of gates in them. They were built in 1927. Can you believe that? Man, people knew how to build things back then, didn't they? You know? Think about us today. I think one of the things we need to carry into the new year with everything going on is a great dose of humility. We think we're so smart with our Facebook and sharing of knowledge and all that other type of stuff going on. But let me tell you this. Don't take this as a downer. 50 years ago when you bought a truck, you got an owner's manual and it taught you how to tune the valves. You buy a truck today, and this is the truth, you get an owner's manual, and it advises you not to drink the contents of the batteries. John Wayne said it best. Life is tough. It's even tougher if you're stupid. Remember that. That's what we go through these days with people. It's like, great goodness from that standpoint. So with those towers, you're going to see, coming up here in the fall, we're going to throw some divers down there. They'll go to about 200 feet. And they're going to inspect those gates. So you'll probably see a little bit of work going out there on those towers coming up because they're important. Well, if you go inside those towers, 4 of them are 30 feet in diameter, 1 60 feet in diameter. They have rails going down on the inside of them, and these gates go down with a hoist. And we do generate power out there from a hydro standpoint when the lake is way, way up. Okay? We don't regulate the water based upon opening the spill gates. We've only opened them twice. The last time we did it was during the flood of 2015 because we've got to keep that lake at 360 or below. Okay? But we'll be out there doing some work on that from that standpoint. In addition to that, we continue to try to focus on a net zero carbon. And so we look at our coal-fired units and retiring them. And the only way we're going to bridge the gap is with natural gas. But if you look around the country, you see a bunch of natural gas plants that are being challenged because they can't get the pipelines run. And creek crossings, that's where they get them with permits. And so we do want solar on our system. We do want to be able to use renewables like hydro. We will look at offshore wind if it's feasible, okay, to get that net zero carbon, because that's what we want. And we will phase out our coal plants eventually. But until that technology like batteries, right now they're too expensive, they don't hold the charge long enough. All right? So you go out there and you get you some deck screws and you get a battery, even the great batteries that you got now. When you go to Lowe's, you go to buy those batteries, they're $140 and they treat you like you're handling gold because they got to be there with you. You got to carry the slip up there and all this other type of stuff. I guess people steal them. But you run it and you put about the 30th screw in the ground, the board, they pretty much have exhausted themselves. Same way on our system, okay? It's going to be sustained cold today up to 40 degrees, okay? It's not going to get any more than 40. But go into this weekend and Sunday. Wait till Sunday hits you. You're not going to have any solar generation and batteries only last you about 2 hours time, okay? And so you can't have that. You got to have instantaneous. Y'all flip the light switch on at home, you expect the lights to come on. You bump your thermostat down, you instantaneously expect the heat strips to come on and warm up your house. Same way it is on that system. We've got to match and marry the generation to what you got going on your side from that standpoint. So those are some of the challenges we have at the company. Our employees, of course, COVID. Ain't y'all sick of talking about COVID? No, I know I am. We got about 95 employees that are out right now because they tested positive of close contacts, all right, from a COVID standpoint. So, my thing is, COVID, yeah, what did we learn from COVID? All right? Let's take away what we've learned from COVID. First thing is these masks. I hate these masks. And my linemen have to wear a FR mask. This is a FR mask, flame retardant. And boy, they hate wearing these masks. I can tell you that. They hate it. But I start thinking about masks. Then I start thinking about me. First of all, this mask, I probably had this one for like 6 weeks. One thing I like about the mask is you can be in a meeting. And you used to be in a meeting and it'd be a boring meeting and you go to yawn and you suppress your yawn and your nostrils would flare. You doing it? Some of you probably doing it right now. The great thing about a mask, it covers your mouth and your nose. So you can go ahead and yawn. You ain't got to suppress it. Even if you try to suppress the yawn out of habit, people can't see your nostrils flare and the fact that you're bored. So that's been a positive thing about the mask. The other thing about the mask is I forget to change mine out. I was sitting at my desk the other day and I was like, what is that? What is that? It's like, God, it's my breath going into this mask. Nasty. So you got to change them out periodically. Sometimes I forget from that standpoint. You know how many times I go from my truck all the way to the office and I don't have my mask and I'm like, dang it, I have to turn around and go back. So I'm getting my steps in because of the mask. So I really like that as well. But you know what I really learned from the mask? Hypocrisy. Sometimes I mask who I am versus what I say and what I do. That's something we've learned from wearing a mask. We've been wearing masks all our lives. We've been wearing masks all our lives, and that's what I think about. And am I true to my word? That's what's important. Are you true to your word and what you say? So think about that. Do you mask up when you come home and you're around your family and your kids? Do you mask up around your coworkers? Or are you somebody different depending on who you're with? Or are you a consistent individual as you go along? Okay, from that standpoint. The other thing COVID has taught me, which is really interesting, has caused me to really reflect on my life, because when we have this thing, when Royce has linemen and they're out there working and one tests positive, we always come back and we say, well, how many close contacts do you have? Because then they have to go get tested and then they're in quarantine until they get to work. And it's made me think about who are the close contacts in my life? And what are the activities that I would consider close contacts? You know what close contact is defined by? Something that you spend 15 minutes within a 24-hour period doing. Okay, think about that. So what I try to do is reflect on those activities and those individuals that I spend 15 minutes of my precious time during the day, because kick out sleep, we really don't have that much, do we? We really don't have that much time in the day. So who are my close contacts? And are those close contacts in my life, are they providing me with a positive outlook on life? Okay? Am I, as a close contact to other people within that 15-minute period, am I providing them with support? Am I providing them with encouragement? Am I providing them with an example of positivity to make things better in this world? I can tell you about the shopping carts right now, but I won't. Y'all already know. I would have told you about the shopping carts, but the lady at the table told me about the shopping carts, and she pushed it back. She cussed me when she had to do it, so I ain't going to bring that up with the shopping carts. But who do you spend 15 minutes of your time with, and what activities do you spend 15 minutes of your time with? Think about that in 2022, and how it affects your life and the lives of people that you come in contact with, for sure. And then finally, everybody talks about the breakthrough vaccines and all these other type things that can cure COVID and all these other type things. And what do we do in order to protect ourselves? What do we do? And the fact of the matter is, life is crazy. It's just crazy. I always love how people, during COVID and all this, everybody wants to complain about that they're a product of their circumstances and consequences. You're a product of your actions. You're always a product of your actions. And so I think the thing that is most important is that COVID brings mortality in the equation to the national news and all those other type things. And I think the true vaccine that we have against all of the challenges that we face are relationships. And those relationships in our lives. We get so involved with work and all those other type things. But work's important. kick out sleep and we spend more time with the people we work with and the family at home that we profess to love. So what are you doing to make a positive working environment from that standpoint, to establish those relationships with those that you work with from that standpoint? I like the fact that energy comes here and we kind of kick the year off, because you know what, our job is your job. Bring the light. Bring the light. That's what we do every day. Bring the light. Think about it. That's what we go out there and literally do every day. Bring the light. So what do you do? What do you do on a symbolic basis every day? And what will you do in 2022 to bring the light? I wish you all the success. We love being here in Lexington. Love being a part of this community. I love living here. I do. I love the people here. That's what truly makes the difference. And don't ever lose sight of that. God bless you and thank you.
I want everybody to congratulate Keller and all of Dominion, because in May, we're starting to clean up the river, and we can truly focus on having a riverfront community in Columbia. I mean, this has been on the books and working for years. So Army Corps of Engineers finally agreed, and I think it is a huge milestone. God bless Dominion for doing it.
Keller, thank you so much for those words and inspiration this morning. It was a wonderful message that you delivered, and we sincerely appreciate it. Let's give Keller another round of applause.